Thank you, Ruth. It's been a great start to tonight. All right, now that we're warmed up, let's move on to questions received from the public. This first one is on the workforce behind the workforce. As both an educator and a parent myself, I know high quality care depends entirely on the people who provide it. And Wisconsin pays those people almost nothing. Our early educators average $13 to $14 an hour, putting their wages in the bottom 2% of all income earners in Wisconsin. A worker with just a high school diploma earns about $5.50 an hour, more in nearly any other field. As Dr. Laura Dresser of UW-Madison's High Roads Strategy Center puts it, this is the most highly educated, poorest paid workforce in our state. As governor, what would you do to raise wages and benefits for early childhood educators?
Hey, thanks for the question. One, over the last 6 years, both starting with child care counts and with the bridge payments, that is exactly what has happened. We have taken the average wage that is at $13 and used that to help pay people $16 or $17 an hour. That's what's at risk right now. I was with a provider in Green Bay just a week ago. She does it out of her basement. And she said, as of Labor Day, prices are going up by 10%. This is not something that anybody here is foreign, that is foreign to you, because you know that. And that's not simply because she wants to, it's just because she has to. And so what do we need to do? One, we need to make sure that we are restoring child care counts, that we are finding a long-term solution. The refundable tax credit that I mentioned is going to be part of this, ensuring that we are capping costs for all of the people who are getting child care. But ultimately, it's about increasing access to Wisconsin shares, increasing the reimbursement for Wisconsin shares, creating a longer-term solution that makes sure that we are investing this as the launching pad into K-12 education and the workforce issue that it is. People here know this. There's more than $1 billion of productivity that sits on the sidelines every year in Wisconsin because people can't find accessible, affordable, or high-quality childcare. We need to be addressing all of those things, and it starts with the people who work in the daycares first.
And not just related to this particular group, but the first thing that the next governor can do is, one, we need to raise the minimum wage. I mean, the fact that we have a $7.25 minimum wage here in the state of Wisconsin is just, it's mind-blowing to me. And the reason why I say it's mind-blowing is because I got my first job when I was 14 years old, and I made $7.50 an hour, right? We're talking about 25 years ago. Yes, I am old. But one, we have to work directly with the providers. It's about making sure that when we're talking about this funding, yes, we need to cap at 7%. We need to make childcare universal, but we need to be working directly with our home-based providers, our nonprofit providers, our Head Start providers, our tribal community as well, to understand what exactly is the floor of funding that you need to deliver the services adequately. And so I think that at the end of the day, it's about having conversations with you all. We are not the experts sitting up here, but we have the ability to push policies that directly impact you, And so understanding what that floor of funding should be with all of our providers will give us a better understanding of making sure that you are paying your workers adequately. But it's also important that we invest upstream. We need to create a better credentialing opportunity for individuals who want to work in the childcare field. And so it's going to take an incredible amount of work, but it's going to take all of us coming to the table in order to get this done.
Yes, I'm proud to be a co-sponsor of the living wage legislation to make sure that we increase the minimum wage to $15 an hour with a pathway to 20. Our 99% of the businesses in Wisconsin are small businesses. And it's important that we work with our small business community to make sure that it's a sustainable path to $20 an hour. But $20 an hour is not a living wage. And right now, our local governments do not actually have the ability to raise local minimum wage to a living wage. So we have to remove that state preemption as well, abolish the tip minimum wage, which is an abysmal $2.33 an hour, as well as a sub-minimum wage of $2.30 an hour. But I'm also incredibly proud to be the author of one of the most comprehensive paid family medical bills that has been introduced in the country. And family leave, 12 to 14 weeks comprehensive that the state provides, where it would not be a burden on the employer, where folks could take off work to take care of an aging parent or a new baby or someone who needs support because they are a survivor. These are all things that would be included and folks would be eligible for 12 to 14 weeks of paid family and medical leave. It's also imperative that we have a public option through the state that we invest in addition to expansion of Medicaid and expanding the state healthcare system to additional workers across the state, so that in addition to raising wages, we are ensuring that the state is providing paid family leave and healthcare that's accessible, affordable, and high quality for everyone.
I'm proud to be the lead author of the living wage bill that will raise minimum wages to $15 an hour with a path to 20 by 2030. I'm also proud to be the lead author of the bill to open up the state health insurance plan, the very same coverage that I get as a senator, to let anybody buy in. And I think child care providers in licensed centers or homes should be presumptively eligible for that. But at the end of the day, all of us have great ideas about childcare, and we're gonna want to do the things that you all know need to be done. Whether or not we can get them done depends on whether or not we can beat Tom Tiffany and win a Democratic legislature. So the most important work that I have done to try to advance this is never sit out an election cycle. That means doing what you have done over the last 5 years, and I've seen you all at midnight in the Joint Finance Committee. I have seen you showing up at rallies. I have seen you bringing your kids, and sometimes I bring mine. It is that political organizing work. We need a candidate who will not just do the right policy, but who can actually help deliver the legislative majorities and is willing to use that power to get it done. And that is the work I have been engaged in for my whole adult life as an activist, and of course, during the periods that I've been in the legislature. I am the candidate on the stage, the only one that can say that I have over 20 years of turning progressive ideas like the ones we're talking about here into state law in the toughest of political environments. And that is why, as governor, I will give you a raise.
Once I get a little older, I'll hit that 20-year mark. The funding question is vitally important. That's why I led with the fact that we need to have universal childcare here in Wisconsin. So many families get left behind, so many communities get left behind because of the lack of adequate funding. And I did mention the fact that there are so many providers who would love to pay a living wage and cannot do so without raising costs on families. Now, a couple things that have been mentioned, public option for badger care, but hey, I remember a time where our providers were AFSCME members because they had the access to state resources and were seen as public employees. Getting back to that model might be a better option for folks who are looking to be able to provide and also have healthcare, have retirement, have everything else they need to live happy, healthy, and productive lives. Now, to get the money for the funding for universal child care, the easiest way is ending subsidies for data centers. That's $2 billion right there. That's $400 million a year that could go towards our children's future, instead of industries that lead to the mental health crises amongst our youth and political polarization. We also can create an endowment fund with those resources, and then also consider other revenue streams like marijuana legalization to help stabilize funding, which would provide us some very reliable sources of income to the state.